Alright, so I think we should have a Zen though. I think Ana and Zen would be good.
If he can Zen all on it, I'm a better Ana than
exactly.
Zen.
And then Blaze, if you want to go like heroic.
Okay.
Only because Zen I think is. I mean,
you do know Torb works in every single situation.
actually, no, because they're probably gonna dive. Actually, no.
Yeah, you're probably gonna die.
Not Doritos, you can go Lucio and Jay go Mercy.
Yo,
Yeah, we kind of need you to play. I think Mercy's good because you can fly. Like, I think you can
I'm gonna fly. Yee.
go for high ground.
Corner.
Here, I'll show you where I usually set up. So if they have a Widow, a Genji, or Winston, or anything to dive you on, then you need to like just stand behind the shield and be a shield bot.
yeah,
So.
or just stay behind this corner so they don't get
Anyway.
me.
So just a heads up, by the way, you can actually use this the staircase on the middle to get up to high ground without ever having to peek the doors, and so that's one way to hide your team comp from the other team.
Here, Sunday, right here.
Yeah, so instead of doing like going where the Mercy went, you can run all the way over to where the mini is, like on the right side of spawn.
Don't go up on,
stairs.
don't go up top yet. Just stand right here.
Yeah.
And then go up on the base. But if they have a Widow or Genji or anything, just stand behind Run Shield.
Yeah, that's typically why you want to go for it.
I don't think they got a Widow so far.
I don't think they do either. They have a Lucio. Are they running or staying calm?
They got soldier to the left. Soldier to the left.
They're going
Shield
left.
half, shield low.
Shield, shield.
Shield's weak, yeah. Stay light soldier. Aiming heals, I got 3 down. They have a player in Mercy.
Let's focus. Run, no.
One chase for our soldier.
Here we go.
Alright, hog on left, hog on
Yeah,
left.
get him, he's weak.
Soldier's high ground. So careful.
We're focusing on
Guys, get that soldier.
Got him.
Oh, nice hit.
Nice job.
guys, who do we focus? We gotta focus fire.
I got 70.
Nobody's peeking out right now, so there's nobody really to focus.
Yeah, as long as they're not like...
Yeah, try not to lose high ground here.
We need to catch one of them out of position, and then we can.
Sorry, I was muting you guys.
Alright, I'm gonna use fire.
Wait, they're running triple tanking.
They've always.
Yeah, boys, shut it.
Shield's low, shield's low.
Left side up top, boys.
Nice pick. Beat.
Alright, focus Ryan.
I would focus that soldier, TBH.
Yeah. Boy,
Yes.
Their shades are on the down. Nice shatter.
Good shatter.
Focus his Ryan.
Yeah, back up, I'm low.
This Zarya killed herself. Oh, we're fine. Here, I'll speak
Keep her right now.
Who died?
Nobody, we're good.
No, so I hooked Zarya and Zarya killed herself.
My fault.
They don't have coalescence anymore. I
Yeah,
shattered.
they're gonna have beat though, and they might have grab. Not
Yo,
grab.
Roadhog going left side. He's looking for hook.
Yeah, he's looking
Yep, there he is.
Yeah, they're going left. Their shades on.
Nice!
Nice hook.
beat. We're pushing. You're down one. Watch soldier.
Shield,
Watch soldier
shield
hold
low.
on top. I almost have ult.
Yeah, watch these guys trying to boot this way.
Oh, fuck. Can you res?
Shield down.
Anything heals? On point? Oh, they're gonna take that out sick.
Oh god. Oh, no,
Just stall
gone
it
too
out.
far.
Just
Yeah,
again.
stall.
And that is my cue to leave. No, don't use it. We waste.
Yeah, careful not to stagger anymore, because this is
Yeah,
over.
yeah. Okay, there we go. Oh, wait.
Pause it. It's gonna pause by itself.
No, it isn't.
No, it's not. Oh, what the hell?
Pause it.
Pause. What the fuck? What hockey was it to pause?
Control
Yep.
Which one was it?
Control shift equal.
Do we know who the host is?
It's wave.
Yeah, it's me, but I forgot the fucking thing to do it.
Okay, cool. So while we're waiting for that, let's recap there a little bit. What do you guys think happened on that first couple engagements?
We lost to the soldier ult. Well,
Yeah,
No,
Uh,
we lost high ground, which gave the soldier ult all the ground, and he had free reign. Meanwhile, he with that ult enabled his team to move up, while we were scattered in the back trying to hide from it. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
they were
exactly.
putting like shield pressure on our shields, which broke down our shields, and we had nothing to like kind of counter initiate on them.
Yeah, absolutely. So the big thing there was, Soldier, you were doing a good job of staying high ground. The big thing was, you were just in the wrong part of the high ground. Those stairs there are very vulnerable, because you can basically just get dove at any time if they switch their comp up at all.
Okay.
Even if someone died, they switched to a widow for a second just to look through the doors, you could have gotten shot. So what you typically want to be doing instead is stand on the opposite side of that like enclosed space, up where you can sort of access the highest point. That puts you back closer to your team, and if you get pushed, you can fall back or fall straight on top of your team if you really, really have to. Junkrat, you're doing a really good job of helping contest that. Like, that's sort of your job, is when the soldier's getting pressured up there, you're the second person to 2v1 the other soldier. So that was a really good job. But yeah, just be a little bit careful to play more conservatively. When you played over by the mini, it was the kind of thing where, especially if they chose to go that way, you would have taken a 6v1. And so you just want to have more ways
where should
to.
I stand to be in
Wait, so I should hold the high ground near the telephone like stand, right?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
basically like right next to your team. So it's above the door.
Where that staircase was, like where opponents are toward, that like that. Like don't jump over.
Oh, is Blaze gonna have bad spawn now, or is he gonna like join?
No,
the...
he's gonna be the. Yeah, he might. He will.
Real quick, what was the? Because I just got back to see like the last snippet of that fight before he disconnected. Like, I don't remember what off tank were you guys playing? Were you playing
Roadhog.
Roadhog. Yeah, I just hooked hog and a decent. Like, I literally my power went out.
Also, it's gonna be for it's gonna be rough for Junkrat playing into the Zarya.
Yeah.
So you got it's like a lot of onus on the Junkrat making sure that he plays well against the Zarya.
On top of that, the big thing here is that you do have a tire, which shuts a lot of these heroes down. If you can force out the Zarya shields, you might be able to get a nice tire to delay all of this. This soldier is going to be very tough to use because of just all the fat things they have on their team, and again the Zarya shields. So you might have to use it. Not when you'll get strictly like the most value off of it, but you're gonna, you don't want to overemphasize it. You're just gonna have to use it at some point.
Where should I stand? Because you said like if I stood on the right side, then like they would go through that door and like obviously like 1v6 me. Like where should I stand to be safe from the soldier ult, but also not get pinned right there?
So basically, so when you stood on top of that staircase, how you were basically behind the statue, I would want you to turn right, go through that like slightly enclosed area, and then stand where it's a little bit open. That way, you can, if you drop straight off, you're back in the corner, so you have a nice defensive position. You can also rotate up the stairs and then peek out the window.
Okay, I got you. So
Yeah,
it's high ground, and then I can just drop down also.
Exactly, and it gives you more options, and also doesn't expose you to the widow. If they do have a widow, you might have to move from that spot.
Again.
Yeah, I had to change my Wi-Fi
But
thing.
yeah, you'll have to be cognizant.
I was
of
on my
They
phone
don't have
for
a
a
widow. They don't have like a good way to punish you.
I
Like,
usually
there's,
ignore
like,
that
you're
spot.
basically there for free.
I'm not sure why. Like I just don't go there, but yeah, that's for sure.
It gives you a worse angle of exposure to be able to see the other team, but at the same time, it's a much safer spot.
You have to question us a little hard.
Yeah, exactly, because you can always fall back that way. But if you're out that far in the front, again, if the soldier takes the fight with you, you can't really disengage.
Yeah, I don't think I have any more questions.
The other big thing too is that if you need extra help, early enough on in a fight, you could ask for a little bit of help from your sports. So if you pull your Mercy up, for instance, to that spot, then she's pretty safe as well, and you can slap your station down and keep her alive while she damage boosts you.
And I'll even say, to add on to that, the Lucio can like definitely get up there on the wall ride up the like near your telephone booth. There's a good wall ride that takes you about 3 hops to get up there, 3 or 4. So yeah.
I can do that. Okay.
Minnie, stop fucking typing.
Okay, I think
But it's not okay. I'm like,
Sonny, you imbecile.
Yeah, it's already.
Is it?
Here's Imperial Monk.
No, it wasn't. I know Sonny's typing. Okay, it's always in his fucking.
We're ready, bro. Everyone's ready.
Already.
Alright.
Just use the pick and then I'll speed it back.
no, we're starting anyways.
Come on.
Okay.
Alright. Hog, right? Let's go.
Oh, fuck. I got bad spawn.
I got shattered.
Yeah, I got shit
Here,
spawn.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, just be aware. You're 3 up right now.
Yeah, don't.
Roadhog's flanking, Roadhog's flanking.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you're careful about tire. You want to save it for a fight.
Oh, we lost first point.
Yeah, it's because but it's because
Take out Ryan's shield and get a big shatter.
Cooked.
Okay, that's bad.
Trying to body block it.
Oh, nice.
What the fuck?
Fuck!
It's okay. It's okay.
Ryan's low.
No hammer.
Yeah, you guys have this.
yeah, Zarya's won. I beat it. I got beat like so quickly there. Holy shit.
Yeah, don't let them out if possible.
That was my bad.
Oh shit.
Yeah, when we go.
No, do not stagger the hog.
Why? What?
Yeah, be careful about it because he builds
Yeah,
a
that's not what I meant. I meant just
and he can just
kill
randomly kill someone. Like even though you have a mercy, you do not want to be running res.
him. Yeah.
So I know you said save Riptire for fights, but usually what I try to do is like get a pick before the fight, and then they can just like wipe things. Like, is that a bad idea? Like,
So the problem is that they have a Zarya, so you risk giving your charge early. What you want to do is basically, if you're going to do that, you want to try and lob some grenades nearby her in an effort to force the shields out, and then you can tire. But you don't want to do it first like that.
Roadhog flanking left side.
Shield's weak, their shield's weak, their shield's weak. Oh,
Roadhog's flanking, Hog's flanking.
Just be careful.
Stay main. Stay main.
Garrier's down, so we might be able to
What?
push this.
what?
Oh my.
There's a hog behind.
Zarya's low, Zarya's low.
Careful about heroes that are missing.
Hog left side. Hog behind, hog behind.
Okay, I'll deal with it. Ryan, you stay front.
Yeah, we need a main tank up top.
Yeah, I'll be the off tank. I'll be.
I'm playing the best I can, basically. Like, I'm trying to not
Nah, the tanks basically have to sit where they are. Just be careful about rotates.
Yep, Roadhog coming left side. I hate hooked it, yep.
Get
Yeah,
Ryan's
kill
shield
hog,
down.
kill hog, kill hog.
He's behind. Mercy's dead.
This is unlucky. Alright, you guys just split.
My shield's down, my shield's down. My shield's going down.
Yeah, get back. Oh, actually,
speedy recovery.
I'm amping heal.
Shattering?
Nice.
Behind her, hog behind.
Get Puppy, get the Lucio. Nice.
Good
They
trap.
wasted,
Good
they
trap.
wasted beat.
That
Zarya's low. Zarya's
That
low.
was huge.
Stay alive, mini. Zarya's half.
That was huge. But honestly,
I got my
Like-
ult.
Nice hook. Oh, Zarya's weak.
Back up a little bit, guys.
Careful,
Back
careful.
up.
Yeah, I know. What's your shield now?
I already have all. I'm not gonna keep any more. Guys, soldier's flanking left.
He's looking for shatter.
Good
Yeah.
job keeping the soldier up.
I'm low. I'm pretty low.
Oh, somebody's weak on there.
Shields down, shields down, shields down.
I will watch over you.
Already blocking it.
It's unlucky.
That's bad luck. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
No, that's good tire though. Yeah, so that's what
I need shield, I almost have shatter.
What?
No, it's fine.
Trap.
Where's one? Get the fire. Killing you. Oh,
Stop going in, boys, stop going in. Chill.
yeah, we're fine.
We should have played farther back because that Junkrat.
You guys got split up. They split you up in the middle of the fight between left
Let's
and right.
tire. See if we can get it. One left side.
Come and spawn, damn it.
Should have back.
That's okay.
Zarya. She's gonna get someone from fire.
I'm
It could
taking
be
care of you.
I have shatter for this.
He's getting. Oh. Brian's half.
Junkrat left side, Junkrat left side.
Should I use tire first? Or maybe?
Yeah,
Shield's going down.
yeah.
Just
Be
give
back.
me
Careful.
You guys are gonna have no shield for this. Oh,
Okay,
right.
let's push.
Push. Let's see if we can get him big. Oh no, got it.
It's okay. Yo, break the shield.
He's in you guys.
Nice.
We caught him weak. Brian's weak, but he just has that shield on him.
No hammer.
Shattering.
Ryan one.
Nice. Good tire.
Oh god, that was bad by me.
Oh, don't you wait. No.
Back out, you lost your main tank. Back out. Back out.
No, don't pick it. No.
Yeah.
Only 30
Yeah,
seconds.
so, guys, be aware of that. Like, if you have Rhine ult and you see their Rhine shield is low like that, that's a huge opportunity for you.
I'm back.
Someone's trapped.
Ryan's trapped, he's low.
Deep
Give up
top.
top.
Nice, that's a good
Nice,
pick.
nice hook.
You can win this easily.
Oh my
Got
god.
tire.
I'm 97 on beat.
It's coming left side behind.
Oh shit, I'm left.
I will watch over you.
That would be my fault if I took it.
Nice. Drunk.
Good job, guys.
Nice.
Good job, Sonny. Holy shit.
70% hook accuracy.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
I'm actually really impressed with some of your mechanics. Like they're pretty, they're good. Like Sunny, I was watching Sunny at the end, and he did really well. But I want you guys to notice, like you lost second point. Second point was totally like winnable. But you guys lost second point because you guys got split up between the side alley and like main. I don't have any like callouts right now, but it's side alley and main. You guys got split up between their team. And that's how they were able to sort of drive a wedge between you guys, especially in a control comp that plays triple tank. It's gonna be really hard for you guys to get back together, and that's really what lost you the point. But I think it all started back when that Roadhog was just flanking there, and he was just chilling by hotel.
Yeah, I got picked off. My positioning was not well there.
That you guys do like managing flanks is something that can be abused so hard at these ranks, and I feel like they're doing a lot of flanky plays. So listen, make sure to listen to your supports who've been calling them out. I've heard Mercy and DPS calling them out. I don't know your voices yet, but
yeah, it's all good, man.
I'm just saying to remind you, you're to like probably remember.
Yeah, no, the big thing there was when you noticed that they were flanking repeatedly, it was good for you guys to watch for it. The reason you ended up getting split was because half the team ended up going for the Roadhog, half the team didn't. It's the kind of thing where when the Roadhog pops out like that, you want to remove him as fast as possible so that doesn't happen. If you're able to basically deathball him like really quickly, then that removes a giant problem from the fight that you can refocus. But the slower that happens, the more likely you are to get split like that.
Where do you want to flank?
Do you just want to go around right side?
Oh, there's no
Yeah, we're moving right then.
Wait, soldiers up top, where you were, I think.
Okay, I got you.
What's Zen?
There's a soldier. There's a soldier. Watch out.
Zen half.
You needed a backdrop?
Soldier
Yeah,
and
soldiers top
up
right.
top. Soldier and Zen, sorry.
Sends low. Sends low.
I can't get up there right now.
Are we gonna dive this Zen?
Thanks.
Yeah,
Alright.
Is this Ryan? Oh, Ryan.
Let's dive the Zen, dive the Zen.
Oh.
Alright, Zen first.
Zen's low. Zen's okay. He's getting fucking confident.
Yeah, I think we should fall back. We're not winning that, I don't think.
There we can.
Jay, I love you.
Oh, we can.
On point. There you go.
Honestly, Wave sort of saved that, but you had Mini was like you had like 2 sets of 3. You had Mini with the 2 supports, and then you had both flanker DPSs with Diva. And like Winston really has to engage with, and like Mercy sort of offered this comp. You guys are gonna have to like figure it out.
Yeah.
Do you think I was good with defense? That was kind of the problem.
Sorry, what was that?
Because before, when like you give me my code, like.
No, wait, like, I was trying to say to you, like, deflect, but it didn't come out of my mouth. But you actually definitely saved me there when I was resing Mini.
Yeah, I tried to do that like consciously because I saw he was shit.
I don't know if he's up there, but he's spamming.
Not up here.
No, because before, one of my heats and the biggest problem was that I was deflecting it too early.
Yeah, he's main
I
now.
was asking him if he was like playing pink on the guitar.
I'm just getting rained on.
Yeah, no, I can tell that you're thinking about it.
You wanna dive Zen? Oh shit.
I'm not in position.
That's a junk.
Actually, yeah, it's too much time. Nice pick.
I got my ult.
Going for Lucio.
Yeah.
Back out, we lost 3, I'm not resing, back it.
God
Yeah,
damn.
don't rest that.
Oh shit at this
I was trying to
game,
make
bro.
it so we wouldn't get more than 1 person. Like, I'm the fastest here besides Tracer.
Oh shit at my team.
Okay, are we all back?
Zen's on
I'm around, I'm kind
Where
of
do you
low.
guys want to go?
I don't know. Where can we really good?
Oh, I got picked.
I feel like Ryan has
I
shot
was
it.
way too far behind you, so.
Yeah, yo.
Mhm.
Mini.
Yeah, remember, you're not a full flanker. You're not a tracer.
Sorry? What were you saying, Blaze?
I was saying.
Junkrat's up top over here.
Yeah, he's up there. Get him.
Don't waste bubble at choke.
Okay.
Bubbles here.
I don't have dash.
It's really valuable as a.
Careful, he set a trap up there.
Yeah, he did.
We're good.
He said it left side, not right side.
Yeah, I know. I heard everything.
You wanna dive McCree?
Sonny, do you wanna go far right side?
Agree. Bubble in midair then. So then
Wait,
like doesn't get you.
whoever's
Junkrat's still behind. Junkrat's still behind up top.
Alright.
Fuck, I'm so
Coordinate
shit
your
at...
dive.
Yeah. Wait, get this
Junkrat's
That
half.
was my bad.
Okay,
Nice.
we got big. We're trading.
Heroes never die.
Oh, we got get
Nice,
we
nice
got
one.
John.
Focus, Arya.
Nice. All their healers. Zen's
Zen, yes.
Just keep pushing back.
Judas, go with them. Go with them. Heal him. I got it.
Good job, Minnie.
Good job.
let's
Careful
push
about
up.
using bombs and cleanup for fights like that
Let
though.
me get you
Oh yeah.
They're both low already.
Yeah, I attempted
Sonny,
impulse spawn that fix that.
Nah, that's okay.
Let's push up choke so that they don't take
We
it.
need to get on point though.
Yeah,
Going up in a window, and I wanna get up on the
I
high
don't
ground.
think. Oh yeah, just make sure that they don't get the point.
I'm gonna try to force that trans.
They're gonna try.
Oh, fuck.
Wait, do we have shatter? No, we don't have Reinhardt.
Ryan's low.
Rein's on point. Oh god, I defeated but.
Yeah.
Good trans.
He used like all of their ult knives.
Yeah, it's just not gonna be really winnable.
Yeah.
Junkrat was still behind us though.
No, not winnable. Not winnable.
Genji, you're too far up basically. You need to sit back. With
They're not
the team.
killing me.
I was trying to stay behind and force that.
Yeah, they staggered me. Sorry.
The big problem is the people that were going to get weakened first were just not the people in the back. You didn't have enough help essentially to be able to fight them like that. This
Especially when,
just pocket each other.
they pulled
I
out the
must go
trans.
where I'm
When they
needed.
pulled out the trans, they should have just backed
Well,
out.
I was kind of like suiciding, kind of, cause like I was going into the
You
blade.
wanna push side alley?
Junk spam is up.
Okay.
He's like.
Push right down.
Wait, Sonny, do you wanna go side? Oh, I see you.
Where do you want to go for?
Pushing right side.
They don't have trans anymore, so we can honestly.
Push junk?
go Zen or-
Yeah, push him.
Let's jump Zen.
Alright, sits back.
Alright, everyone.
Oh.
jump
He's
Zen.
he's far back.
Yeah, he's really far back.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Push
nice,
on.
nice, nice.
Go in. Initiate now. Initiate now.
McCree.
Get in there.
Moira McCree.
Wait, did it not grab?
Okay.
What the?
Sorry, that.
Please remember to not call me.
Oh yeah, sorry. Reinhardt. There.
Heroes never die.
Yeah, because when I die, you're kind of.
That worked out well because of the one clip basically. But remember, you want the tanks to go in first. Tracer can go in at the same time and start shooting people in the back.
Well, they have a Reaper now.
Yeah, make sure
Also,
you're
target calling was a little bit sloppy.
Yeah.
Alright, tanks, let's go. 3, 2,
Wave,
1,
if
dive.
this doesn't work out, switch to Pharaoh.
Watch Rhino front. He's really
Let's
pushed
get
up.
you back out there.
We should have redeemed
Zarya's low, Zarya's low.
I thought I could matrix that. Sorry.
Back it. Back it. Back it. Back it.
That's okay. That's okay. We can get this.
back up.
We have
Yeah.
8 coming up.
Wave, you want a
I'm gonna
Pharaoh
go
now?
for it. Yeah.
So a couple things there. You guys pushed in without mercy, which is why you didn't really have any
Oh, I didn't
sustain.
even know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was with us.
Should I swap off Winston?
A clean
Also,
bill of
somebody
health.
called out that they had grab the previous fight and nobody took that into account. This fight.
Yeah, I kind of said that, but I don't know. I didn't.
Should I
think-
switch off Winston now?
Yes.
Be confident when you think somebody is ult.
Yeah.
I'll go back.
Wait,
They're
Reaper's
close
up
to it.
top.
I'm
Pushed
thinking
him off.
Junkrat's gonna use ult this fight.
Yeah.
We're still
Called it.
Split out this.
Right side, right side.
Coming right,
It's low.
Nice.
Good job. Good job. Good
Good
job.
job.
I'm discorded, but I'm fine.
Okay.
I think Ryan might be better. Yeah.
Sense one.
Careful for Ryan.
Careful, Mercy. You don't want to throw yourself in like that.
Shield almost broken.
Yeah.
Shield broken.
You're
Push him.
playing a very dangerous
Good tap, good tap,
Yeah,
good
I know.
tap.
I know what you. I don't know. Let's do this.
Dive, dive, dive.
Okay.
Let's dive the Zen.
Amping heals.
Ryan, shield's low, shield's low.
Initiate now. Initiate now.
Watch over you.
Ah, damn it.
Now you're good.
Just Reaper.
Ryan won. Nice.
Your Reaper is gonna ult.
Sorry.
Wow. What?
Mercy die. I let Mercy die. Sorry. Yeah, chunk tired.
Nice.
Valkyrie online.
What?
Tired me.
You guys stack your
Heals?
support ults.
I'm falling back. We have one more push.
I'm taking care of you.
Both of your support.
We gotta go back.
I need to get on.
I can touch.
Touch. Yeah, you guys need to get on.
Dead.
Somebody, can you get touch?
No,
Fuck, I fucked up.
They're down junk. I'm coming back as fast as I can. 50 on me.
I fucked up, sorry.
Nice. Touch. Come back with mercy. Nice. We're still on it.
That was nice.
Amping
Yes,
heals,
win,
amping
yes,
heals.
win.
Ryan's on me.
Focus Ryan.
Yeah, please. He's one doing the most damage right now.
Focus Ryan.
Watch Muriel. No, Ryan killed me.
Try to stand.
And then Mora came all the way with me with her ult.
They've done Diva out of mech.
Good.
Winnable.
Good job.
I'm going as fast as I can.
Junk's in right
Yeah,
side.
focus on staying
Focus
on.
Ryan. Focus Ryan.
I'm speeding more. Wait, stay on it! Oh,
Yeah, no,
my
everyone's
God.
dead.
No, I flopped so hard at the end. It was
I mean, they
I should have
picked
switched
the
off
map,
earlier.
so-
shit.
And we almost got there. It was their map pick. It's their map pick.
Okay.
So I gotta do some physics work, but I'm just gonna say a few things before I leave. First of all, like I feel like I was gonna say like I'm gonna be a little harsh here. That was a like very winnable map, and the biggest thing that led you guys to losing that map was that you used Valk and Beat at the same time, and you did
Yeah.
not say I'm beating, I'm Valking.
I should have definitely said that.
That was the number one thing that led you guys to losing.
other-
Second,
Oh, sorry, you can keep going.
I was just gonna say second, another smaller thing. Diva, when you have self-destruct and it's like that, and it was just you and Ryan to stall. It's like a smaller thing. If anything, instead of trying to use the self-destruct to try to get like a 7k or anything, you just stay in mech for as long as you can, because that's gonna stall the most amount of time. And if they kill you, like if you self-destruct and die like you did, you're gonna stall less time than if you stay in mech. Then after you use self-destruct and like, because like how it ejects you, you can try to like hide in a corner and get re-mech and then come back in. It's just like a really small thing, but like when you're min-maxing, like eventually you like see that stuff and it'll become really clear. And then
Another
what you wanted to say.
big thing that I noticed was the initiations were a little bit all over the place. There were a couple times that you guys did a really good job of getting the tanks in first. You know, Diva would come in, Matrix, Winston would land, Tracer was already shooting people in the back, and then Genji was in. That's ideally what you want to have happen. There were a couple times where Tracer sort of ran in first and risked dying. There were a couple of other times too where one tank went in, the other tank was somewhere else, and everything was a little bit split there. There were a couple times too where when we led with Pulse Bomb, which is typically very risky because you already know the Zarya has her shields at that point, and so there were a couple bombs that ending up on the ground and giving the Zarya 80 energy before the fight even started. So it's really important to know when to use your resources in these kinds of engagements. So yeah, so for basically everyone when playing against Zarya, because you guys were focusing sort of on like, oh, we should be careful with Junkrat here, we should be careful with all these things. If you're going to have like high impact sorts of ults, the Zarya shields have to be gone. And so you have to find a way to try and lure those out ahead of time before that like the big damage things start coming in. So just be mindful of that.
Was there anything else that like you guys think that like could have definitely won us that, and that like we could have like tried to prevent, or was that basically just it?
I'm a bit too impulsive when I like use my ults and just run in alone.
I noticed that I went too far, like at least 2 or 3 times. Like I was way in the back and I couldn't really find a way out, and I would like try and then I would end up getting staggered.
I think next time we gotta just, before we initiate a dive, we gotta call out someone, have a countdown, and we all jump in for one person.
I think me and you, Sonny, I think we like go after the same person at the right time, but we're like going from different angles, and I don't know if we should be going in from the same angle or like from different angles.
Different
Different
angles is usually
angles
better.
would be
You want to.
Okay.
The idea is typically to pincer people whenever it's possible. It won't always be, but the more directions that people have to spin to look, the more likely it is that you're going to kill them before they kill any of you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like for Genji in particular, you're not really going to have an opportunity to get all the way from behind them. As a Genji, you're typically looking either to dive from your team or from the right or the left. The reason for that is your dash
Okay.
isn't as far as, say, Winston's jump or Diva's shift or Tracer's mobility. So you have to playing Genji, for instance, means staying back and poking, and then when you're about to dive, you want to try and find the safest way possible to get into a dashing distance, and then go from there.
Oh yeah, did anybody see those directs at the end? Because I was gonna say those are fucking nut.
So you guys like also like your as I said earlier, like your target calling was all over the place. Like I'd like to see like I'm gonna take an extreme example. Like if Winston, if you've ever watched XUC like Mini, like he just like screams the target, and that's not what I want because it's not ideal because you'll just end up clogging out comms, and if there's another like thing that your shot caller wants to say, then it's not ideal. But you have like when you the dive like you weren't going in with your DPS like they were saying like they were stuck in the back like that's gonna happen when they go in alone and also it's not completely your fault but you guys got cohesively and then the Winston and the Diva create space and then they're not even gonna notice sometimes that the Tracer and the Genji are there and that's sort of why dive works so well.
Mm-hmm. Basically, the DPS can't get in safely until the tanks are there, causing just mayhem. And so you're not going to want to dive when you see the DPS in. You're going to want to be the ones that go in first and then have the DPS follow you. So it's all four of you are going to want to make sure that you're on the same page. Realistically, all six. But it's really important for the tanks to go in first because the DPS will just melt otherwise.
Okay.
Also do the supports like Mercy like Lucio for now can work, but like Zen Lucio or even like Moira Lucio. I've seen Moira Lucio be really interesting because Moira can sort of like dissipate with like quote unquote dive with the tanks because of her fade and provides so much healing because of her healing orb and her her like healing spray thing and it's really interesting how that dynamic works out into dive comp. But Zen will always be like a staple good thing to dive comp because it just makes things die faster. So the Trisha supports might be another thing to consider. And one more thing in order of supports, like when you're playing Doritos, when you're playing Reinhardt, when you're playing with a Reinhardt, like I know like you as a Lucio when you hit speed boost, you're the first one to just press W and go forward. But you gotta just say speed boosting, let your Reinhardt go forward, then you go, because and that'll just create a more cohesive front line.
Yeah.
And it's something that like you want to be aggressive and you want to DSP Stinky, but you gotta bring your Reinhardt along.
Yeah.
Because he's just gonna like back in the old days, season 3, like it was all about when if you had your Reinhardt Nano with speed boost, the game was over because Reinhardt just like won everywhere like super zoom, killed everybody. Like that's still applicable even with Nano boost. Reinhardt is very powerful, and you gotta bring up the front line, especially on Reinhardt center maps like not Dorado, Kings Row.
Yeah, totally.
God. God no, don't play Reinhardt on Dorado.
All right, so
It's our pick. It's our
I don't
pick.
think we should do our best map. We shouldn't do our best map.
Leading. Oh, so we have. So our options are King of the Hill, payload completely, or 2CP. We just can't do hybrid.
Yeah, I just can't do hybrid. What do you guys think? I don't really.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go, but I want to say like I've said like some roasts, but you guys do have good mechanics, and like that map like was definitely one of
Who's
them.
Hollywood?
Like
What
like you guys could have definitely won that. So
Okay.
so
who's
a lot of improving is gonna happen. Just my physics test currently has to go up to an A right now.
It's
Yeah.
all good.
So
Who's Hollywood?
just for clarification, what is mechanics?
I don't know.
It's clicking on things, walking around.
Like how you play it,
Well,
you know.
he's a Reinhardt main. No, Winston. He's a Winston. No aim, no brain.
That's good to know though, because like I was going in with Tracer, and like I don't know who Hollywood is, but me and Sonny were going in, and we were like attacking their zones and stuff like that. But I didn't really see the tanks. Like at all, and I was assuming they were behind me. So it's like I didn't really think about the tanks having to go in first when
The tanks
when
have
it's a
to make the
dive.
space. And
Yeah,
so it's the kind of thing where it's not really anyone's fault. It's just the fact that you're
Yeah.
all new to playing with one another, and so there's just not
Mhm.
naturally that cohesion. But
'Cause
at the same time,
yeah.
little things will go a long way, basically.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Because
And if
so
you
nothing
want,
to focus on in this game if you want to run dive again. But at the same time, think about it this way too. If you're running just a more standard like non-dive, shield tank plus off tank kind of comp, the tanks are still the ones that make the space always. That's their whole point. And so if you're playing with a shield, for instance, don't accidentally walk in front of the shield, like
which actually
we were talking
happens
about
to me
earlier,
sometimes.
stuff like that. So
Yeah,
be aware of everyone else's role.
Yeah, because everybody in the because this is the entire primary team right now. So like, but a lot of the people in here were both in secondary and they're in primary. So like, we're not used to playing with each other as a six.
yeah,
As much as we would be if we had been doing it from the start, because we've like swapped around so much. But like this is the six that's going to be in the tournament and like going to be like consistently playing. So
And that's all good.
there's still more of us to learn. Like there's still more we have to learn. Like when it comes to like communicating and like synergizing in general.
As Best was saying earlier, that will all come with time. It's just mostly a matter of trying to tweak things for the time being and make sure everyone's
Okay.
thinking is on the same page.
What map do you guys want?
and
I mean-
and like that's why we're here. We're here to give you guys a good strats.
Okay.
So get that good.
A good push.
What do you guys
get
want?
that good crush.
And
I think we should do escort.
Escort, like payload.
Payload. Yeah, sorry.
Like,
I don't
Also,
know
What
about
do you guys
that.
want to do? We could do control, like Li Zhang.
I say,
I
let's do
kinda-
control.
I'm kind of thinking about that. Ilios?
oh, I'm down for Elios.
I'm
Alright,
down
not
to
really.
Lishan actually.
also, you guys,
Lijiang or Ilios is fine, but like,
What about Nepal?
Like-
Oh yeah, Nepal's also
like
good.
real
If we're picking, we should do Li Zhang or Ilias, because
I say Elios personally.
okay. Who wants Li Zhang? Say aye. Right,
Alright,
you say I don't. Li Zhang. Ilias. Say the other.
Whenever one
Alright.
cuts out for me, Jesus.
That's Li Zhang.
personally.
Let's send me the other three.
yeah, like I'll pick Lijiang.
Oops.
But
Dude.
Li Zhang, I guess.
kind of cop that. Yeah, that's fine.
By the way, in the future, you guys can team chat, but it's a little bit less hectic.
What?
Like you can use team chat in game to
I
write
pre-
down
I
which one
prefer
you want to vote
I
for.
prefer Discord, to be honest.
Discord works too. I just mean in terms of like making sure not everyone's talking over each other.
Oh, because the push to talk. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I try not to because like it's can be difficult to like remember to do that like in an intense moment unless you're used to it.
No, I mean for like between. Never mind.
Like if you're.
Oh,
if
you're
you're-
like-
And
so if
plus,
you wanna-
and plus, there's always
No.
that thing of like hearing double, which is what I don't like.
Yeah, no. You don't want to be using in-game chat
also,
at all. I just
what
meant
I-
literally for typing.
Oh, for typing.
Yeah, that's what I meant by that. Like you can physically write that down just so that everyone can see. Like, oh, here are the 6 picks. Not, I say this, I say that, so on and so forth.
Now
Yeah,
arriving at
using all your
Zone
resources is
Tower.
important.
Alright, what's the first
Also,
one?
something
Garden.
real quick that you guys might underestimate is like how hard it is to get a group of 6 people
Prepare
to use
to
start
attack.
playing with each other.
Really?
Like,
Select
Like-
your
I love
How
hero.
do you mean?
Love how Doritos interlocks Lucio immediately.
Hey, shut up. It's Lijiang.
Good.
Thanks,
Doritos
guys.
is pretty good. In this.
like you guys are chill with each other, and like you're gonna be spending a lot of time with these people if you're gonna be doing like tourneys and like a team. So it's good that
I
you
already
guys
like
like
these
each other.
guys. Guys,
No, I fucking hate you, Wave. You're a bitch.
I fucking love everybody on the team already. It's been
Okay, what are we doing dive?
like 4 months.
Death
Which
Ball?
one is guarded? I need to know which one
It's the
guarded.
one. It's this one.
It's this one.
Okay. Let's not do dive. I feel like dive.
No.
would be-
Dive.
No, if they might have a Pharah, dude. They might have
I
a
think
Pharah.
usually what we run on this is we have a hit scan, and I usually almost always play Reapers. Like I can't remember the time I played Reaper.
And almost always 1v6 with your ult and fail.
At least one time.
Coming from the sub.
Alright, so Roadhog. Ooh. Alright, Jay, Moira.
Left side, guys. Left side. Push left.
Go left. Speeding is left. I want to get a boot, but we can do that for later because they might have a far or anything.
For sure.
They're going main. They're going main.
Oh, no.
They're here.
Good point.
Back up onto point, Jay.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's far.
Pretty much done. Keep his one.
Shields low.
Low on healing.
Diva.
Shields down.
Push up. This
Mercy.
Yo, get the soldier, boys.
Mercy first. Nice. Okay, now so.
Okay, guys, back up on point.
Yeah, back point.
Retaliate.
Future reference, be careful about calling out the hooks, because I noticed that the soldier almost got away, because we didn't realize that he had been pulled, so just try to call those out ahead of time.
Yeah, my bad.
Watch the boop.
All good.
Oh, I'm taking hard damage here.
Behind. No, they're coming behind.
I have shatter.
I got Lucio again.
No, let's get Diva to make this.
I have beat, dude.
Soldier hooked. Soldier 1. Soldier down.
Focus Diva. Nice.
Far on left. Far a half.
I think this round.
Mercy resing.
He's one.
Guys, mercy.
Okay, nice to go.
Okay, no more ults.
Yeah. They're gonna probably push behind again, but I keep on picking the Lucio off.
Yeah, I'll
Initiate with shadow.
Yeah, no, Reaper and Road focus on taking out.
I'll get her.
Reaper and Road focus on taking out Ryan or his shield.
Wait, they have a
Oh,
raise.
nice.
Nice.
I saw a good opportunity. They were flying.
Alright, guys, let's be really careful about not talking over each other.
Yeah.
Me and Blaze, let's both work on Ryan's shield, and then after we get
Yeah, then we can get those thick shadows.
and I'll go left. I think they're going main still. Watch out for. Don't give a fair ult charge.
This will
I'm
improve
watching
your
left. I
condition.
think they're going main, yeah.
Yeah, they're going main.
Oh, I need healing.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, you're too far.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, let's get this shield though.
I have no healing juice.
Far directed me. That was my fault.
Alright,
Oh my god, bro, I have no healing.
Contest for time.
Nah, back it. Back it.
They use a lot of ults.
Don't go in. Do not go in. Get back out.
Go back. They're on Farah, but they're res.
Doesn't matter. Does not matter.
You know the yellow.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, we're all back.
Left side.
Alright, let's go. Let's all push them.
left. You're gonna try to boot the flow.
We
watch
really
it, watch
should
it.
be all.
No, we can. Oh, okay.
Injured
Yeah.
again.
You
Sorry.
already pushed.
It's just I can't hear you.
Get the shield down with the shadow.
Look at that shield.
Alright. Sorry. Alright, I'll break the shield. Shield broken.
Shattering.
Nice.
What?
I got booped.
I knew down. Alright. Get mercy.
Focus Diva.
There it is. Mercy hook. Okay.
Ryan's low.
I'm in their back line. Spamming. Let's get Diva. Yeah, exactly. Diva hooked. Diva
Get
one.
his mercy. You gotta get that mercy.
Oh, nice.
We could have gotten that mercy so easily, guys.
Nice, come on. Lucio, nice.
We must all make sacrifices.
Victory.
Cap.
Three down.
Allow me to repair the damage.
Lucio heals.
Diva first.
Yeah, dude, you gotta start staying on heals, bro.
Yeah, like there's half.
So many times I've seen you go to speed.
Mercy's half.
Farah hook.
Ryan.
Farah one. No. What's Farah first?
Yeah, we got it. Watch Lucio pushing. Just boot it.
Got him.
Nice. Yeah. Good point. Okay, we got it. Wait, who's on? Somebody on me?
Diva.
Farah has ult.
Diva's one.
Ryan.
Get into position.
96, 97 on me. Lucio half. Nice.
There's half.
Mars one. She's half.
Damn it.
Surrender to my will.
Mercy.
Okay. Good round, guys. That was a little bit crazy at some points, but overall, solid job. A couple, the big issue there was your coordination was pretty good for the most part, but there were a couple instances where things sort of went wrong. Like there was one time where the McCree ended up going right and everyone else went left, and that was why it took so long to break the shield for Shatter, was because one of the DPS was missing. There's just a couple things to iron out, and again, like you guys were saying, try not to talk over each other. We don't need to designate this now, but eventually we're gonna want to have a like primary shot caller and then secondary.
But like today, everybody's like doing it over me.
I mean, we don't really listen to it because like we try to think, oh, if this person's happy, we might be able to get a pick earlier.
I think everybody tries to do a shot caller. And, like,
Yeah, it's one of those things where everyone's calling what they're doing, and no one's listening to anyone else. So
Yeah.
that's inevitable.
I'm the
but just be
primary one, and Blaze is like
Pushing left.
Alright,
look at my shields.
Amping heals.
Shield low.
Back out. We're not gonna win it. Back out. Back out.
We can win if we get another strike.
Yeah, we gotta pick that.
Oh no, we didn't back out.
Yo, again, too far up. Remember to play with the Rhyme shield.
Yeah.
What?
Try to push up so I could like get out a little bit.
Guys, back out. Like, it's not
They're just pushing up. They're pushing up.
it doesn't matter. Back out. Let our Vine shield recharge so we can go in.
Chill, guys. Do you want to go left, like far left?
yeah.
Down for that. I got shattered.
Try to kill it.
Right side.
Very
Nice.
Nice job. Alright, guys, left.
Yeah. I didn't know you needed to.
You went to speed. I was like,
Okay, we can take back
Dude, your stones.
Yeah, the only reason I'm on speed is so that like we can get to the point where we need to. So
You want to go all the way behind them?
Repair the damage.
Alright, push in. I need you to go in first, man.
Ryan's, my shield's down.
Yeah.
We're taking too long to initiate. We're wasting our shield because of it.
Pretty good high ground roll.
I have no healing juice. Good luck.
Should I hide here or should I go?
Just leave.
Leave or hide?
Hide.
Just die or like leave.
No.
No.
I should have just died. I shouldn't have grabbed the whole thing.
Why do you pick that?
That Junkrat spam is.
Yeah, it's junk.
Okay. I think I should. I don't know.
They have a pretty good flanger. There's nothing you can do to counter it.
Oh, I know why I teleported here. I didn't.
Guys.
I didn't think.
You want to switch to a junk of your own?
Yeah,
I
we need
will
to get that
after
shield
this.
down, dude.
Actually, Sunny, do you want to go down?
Zarya has ult. Right.
Nails grab.
This will
See if we
heal
can
you.
pick the Zarya first, because they're gonna have that grab.
Sunny, can you go Junkrat?
Make sure to listen to whoever just made that call about Zarya.
Sunny?
You're out first.
Yeah.
Shield's going down.
Guys, we gotta move in. We're like,
Nice shot.
Alright, we can go.
Warrior's half.
Going with this right now.
Shattered. I mean, shield's down.
You got it.
You guys, you're fine.
I will allow none to stand in the way of progress.
I'm taking high ground.
Guys, on point. If we see 9, I don't understand how much I would.
yo, Mini. Just a little heads up. Like, if everyone else is here, you start walking forward. Don't be a bitch and wait for us. You need to make it the initiation. Like, you're trying to protect us, but like, we need to go in. We took way too long to push 3 times.
Yeah, they're pushing up like really quick.
Yep, they have grab. There we go.
Nice. That's
Oh shit, I got shot.
Nine.
Works.
Push up, throw weak.
Sorry, one. There we go.
junk's half.
I need healing. I'm right behind you.
He's on.
Alright, let's go.
Actually, push up a little.
No.
This will
Alright, chill
heal
out,
you.
Stinky. That's it.
Okay, I have 23 limbs. I'm 23 and 3 right now.
Yeah, says the person that's 28 and 2. Relax.
Well, Moira just hold
Power
on.
of destruction.
Alright, chill.
Nice. I'm dead.
Up.
Surrender to my will.
Oh, what the fuck?
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I can try stuff, but
Nah, just let it go.
It's okay. Don't
I don't think I should
don't
play
get tilted.
McCree. I'm
Deep breath, guys.
I think you should have
Flop,
the junk
I
like one more
flopped
time.
so hard there.
I don't think going left was the right idea, to be honest.
You don't think what?
Going left, because I mean they had junk spam.
I think either way, junk spam would have like.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's.
But we should have just tried playing for point.
Yeah, we need to play point. That's what we
Yeah.
usually do.
So I think during that though, you should have went Junkrat to break down their shields faster.
Yeah, I think
That's
that's.
I don't really play Junkrat much.
I can.
I mean, it's not that hard, but if you wanted, I could have given you the Reaper, like you could have like.
Do you want to try?
I mean.
That actually might work well. No, that would work well.
We need the junk. We need the junk.
I mean, if we need it, then we'll switch. But like, this one isn't as choke heavy.
Let's
So.
go straight to point.
No, it's not really choke heavy, but it's an enforcer on the point.
That's what it means, right?
Oh, okay. Alright. They're coming right side. They're all right.
Hit that boots.
Don't get too cocky going for those boots. Ryan.
I got two. I got them.
Zarya, end point.
Yeah, there we go.
Good play now.
The floor is lava?
That's what I'm
I already have the floor's lava. See what you mean.
My will made real.
Don't get cocky. No.
That was actually beautiful.
Don't be.
Yeah, that was kind of sick.
Okay, should we push up their choke?
Yeah, guys, you want to be
yeah.
careful about sitting on the point every single time after fights.
Regenerate.
Almost have shatter.
Get ready to push up. Get ready to push up. Their shield low. Their shield low.
My shield's low. My shield's low. Shattering? Got him! Jump slow, jump slow. Got him.
That was the battle.
Stagger run.
Doritos, I was spectating you while doing homework, and all of a sudden I hear quadruple kill.
If I don't get play, I don't know what would be.
Guys, push up.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Push up.
Watch that.
It's
Try
up
to
top,
kill
I
it, try to
think.
kill it.
Oh, nice.
Guys, chill. They're gonna use ults.
Shattering!
Oh my god!
Huge shot.
I'm on fire!
You're insane!
Auger, hog.
Alright, let's get back. A little.
Let's go! Let's go!
Stay here.
You might have just stolen your play.
Nah, bro.
No.
I'm still on fire. I gotta pick a too.
I'm already 70 at shatter again.
I'm at. Oh my
Okay.
god.
I hit all 5 of them with that fire strike. I got shatter ready.
Okay.
There it is.
Get that shield up. Oh, we're down.
No, we got.
Jump rack. Got him.
Give me that play of the game. Wait, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First one.
Thank you.
Surrender to my will.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Holy shit, hood damage.
I have an
I had
idea.
gold damage!
You're insane.
I was 33 and 5, dude.
I have 44 and 3. Oh my god.
Dude, this is not, dude.
Shut up, you're on Moira.
Hey, that's not. Hey, just because we won, like, pretty nuttily, I don't think we should feel how close this is.
Yeah, we gotta be respectful.
Yo.
Well, that, and like,
Oh,
we made a lot of mistakes, and like, there's
Oh,
a lot of
Yeah,
improvement
I
that we
made
won.
probably the majority of the mistakes.
No. We all made
It was no one in particular.
Yo.
Even if it was somebody in particular.
Why-
Oh my.
Oh,
Wave!
Chill.
You always do that.
I know.
I'm the new owner of the game.
Invite us back.
Alright.
Hold on.
We're honestly so special right now.
Shut the fuck up.
Wait, who am I inviting? Oh shit.
Real quick,
Mhm.
do you when they play dive, you want to try getting their either like well they're gonna run if they run tracer again you dive. We should get like maybe Winston to call targets.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit separately, but at the same time, I don't want to overload everyone. Let's talk about what happened that last game. before we do anything else.
Wait, this the one on Beijing or?
Yeah. So from a like high level team like strategy standpoint, what did you guys do differently that last round?
Oh, we've played up.
We pushed up more, like on that last round.
Played more as a team. Callouts were cleaner.
Got to point faster.
Yeah, exactly. The big thing is for Koth, think about it this way. The big thing that you're playing for, like the objective of King of the Hill, is to hold the point for a certain amount of time, right? In order to hold it for the most amount of time, especially after you win and you take the point, you want to push up and force the other team to have to push you back onto the point because that's going to take way longer than letting them run all the way in for free. So that's why it was such a shutout that last round was because you took the point and then they didn't get to play the game anymore. They just ran into the choke repeatedly and like lost fight after fight after fight. So there's no danger of, oh no, like we're gonna flip the point because so many people had died already. And that was one of the sort of big major differences that that enabled you guys to win. Couple other things though. We were talking about the shatters being really good and they were absolutely sick. The one thing that I do want you to be careful about though is try not to charge immediately after you shatter. The reason for that is because it sends everyone flying. So what you typically want to do is swing a couple times, maybe fire strike if you haven't already, and then as people are standing up is when you want to charge, ideally like a tank, whatever is, has the most health and needs to die. But if you charge early like that, then everyone's gonna go flying and it's gonna actually make it harder for the DPS to kill things. So be careful about that. Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind though.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like a little thing, but it goes a long way. So yeah, I don't mean to cut you off, but the big thing too is that in that last fight, when you had built the second shatter, because there was I don't know how the hell you managed to do that. That was wild.
I got a 6-man fire strike. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that was actually crazy. So we had Reaper ult and we had Shatter. So the big thing there was that I want Reaper. I want you to call that out ahead of time because what you did was good. You dropped behind them and then spun around, right? That forces the Rhine to spin around, and then that gives you the Shatter. The combination of those two ults mean like they can't deal with both of them at the same time. But I want you to sort of more carefully articulate that that's the plan ahead of time.
I got
because
you.
it just sort of happened, but I want you to try being a little bit more coordinated with how you use ults, like in combination. So like the old classic back when you'd see Diva and Reinhardt constantly was Diva would chuck the bomb behind, everyone spins around, the Reinhardt shatters the whole team. There are lots of things you can do like that with Shatter, and so it's important to sort of know how you want to actually take fights. So try to plan that out a little bit more in advance.
I didn't really plan that at all. Like I was like the main thing I wasn't even like thinking about him having a shatter. I was literally only focused on the McCree flashbang because like as soon as he used it, then I went to jump in, so he wouldn't just flash me out of it. That's all I was really thinking about though. Like, but you're right. I should.
Yeah, well, I didn't even know that you had Death Blossom either. So
yeah,
so
it's one of those things where there's a lot. And here's the thing: this isn't easy because there's a lot of information being thrown around constantly. But that is really important. Like it's very important for you to watch for the flash. You're not wrong in that regard. Just try to let your team know that that's what you're looking for too. The biggest difference between playing in like just random competitive and then playing as a 6-stack is that you guys can afford to be more coordinated than you will be with whatever random teammates that you get matched up for a single game. Eventually, the more you play together, the more natural this is going to be. You'll get into rhythms. You won't have to like be thinking about it as much. It'll all become habit. But until then, I want you to try and focus on building out those habits of working together.
I think that's one of the main reasons I put Sonny back on the primary team is because I think me and him as DPS like play like I just naturally I think we play better together than like anybody else really.
That's fair.
Combination. Like even though some of the DPS that we play like say like earlier we needed a Junkrat, so that means I would have had to swap to Junkrat, and then like he would have had to swap to something else when it would have been easier if he just like played Junkrat. So it's like we have to kind of work around that, and like I think we both have to learn more of each other's characters at the same time.
But even beyond that, it's working with the tanks, for instance. Tanks are your space. You can't move in without the tanks there, and then of course the tanks can't move in unless they're alive, which means the support. So everyone has to be like work cohesively with each other, and so I just want to help build that up earlier. like sooner rather than later, because that will go a long way. We can't work on other issues until everyone's cohesive.
What do you think was maybe like the biggest problem that we had on the second one when we lost?
People started getting tilted. That was the big issue. The reason that you guys didn't swap sooner was because people were getting upset. The one thing that I don't want anyone to really particularly do is I want you to be very careful. Well, I sort of I screwed that sentence up, but basically, don't ever flame anyone else on your team. And by that I mean don't ever say, "Oh, you should have done this. You should have done that." But like, you phrase things like, "Oh, hey, it would, like a diva might help us get through the choke because of the Junkrat grenades," or something like that. Like, try not to blame other people. You want to be more positively focused because you're all on the same team. You all want the same thing. But it's very easy to be a little bit passive aggressive because you're getting frustrated, and so just try to avoid that. You all want to win. Like,
for sure.
I know you all get along with each other. Just try not to phrase things in a way that might cause someone else to be upset. So
yeah. I mean, I try to be careful not to say it in a way that's like passive aggressive or anything, but I still think it's important, like, if somebody does make a mistake, to not like sugarcoat it. Like, if somebody makes a mistake, like drops like a diva bomb in the wrong place or something like that, I feel like it's important to tell them, like, directly, say, like, hey, like, that was a mistake, but it's okay. Right?
So here's the thing: that's the coach's job, because we're trying to help everyone. The problem is that if everyone becomes the coach all of a sudden, then there's just too much mic spam going on. So that's the kind of thing that we can watch for, and we will absolutely not sugarcoat in terms of helping people get better. But by doing that in the middle of a game while other people are trying to focus, not only does that block out other people's comms, but it can make people upset. So
okay, because like up until this point, I've been kind of being like captain / coach / like shot caller, and it's like I'm not used to like not doing those things, some of those things, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's good knowing that like that's your guys' job.
No, I mean, the thing is, like, I started out coaching by being the captain of a university team, and I was the shot caller on Genji, which was incredibly difficult, as you might imagine.
That's basically like what I'm doing.
But yeah, so it's the kind of thing, because I can relate to your experience, it's okay to take a step back. I'm not playing. It's easier for me to see the whole team. I can obviously see where the enemy team is too. I'm not going to tell you that because, I want you to learn for yourselves. But at the same time, if there are issues, trust that I will say something. You guys don't need to police each other in the same degree.
And like, if you guys have anything in that regard to say, like, towards somebody else, first of all, like, you can tell us, it's like, oh, I noticed this, to not tilt the other person. But also, when we're doing VOD reviews, you can bring that up. VOD reviews is a time for you guys. If you guys have like something like criticize each other, you phrase it nicely, but you can say it during a VOD review. During the game, you should be focused on the game and like fixing everything. Like, consider like when we played today, like when you were gone, we played Route 66 and we got sort of steamrolled on defense. And, like, we barely took the whole map, but we didn't tilt. We all acknowledged that we weren't playing a good game, so we all like changed our mindset, reset, and started playing better. So.
Are you struggling with that rocket jump over there?
No, it's that I did it with boxes and I wanted to see if I could do it without.
Yep, hello, fucking same.
Alright, let's do this one.
Alright.
Nice. Oldest trick in the book.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised.
More obviously, but I don't want to get petty.
Yeah, don't get greedy.
No, don't get greedy.
I think they're going right. Coming from right.
Well, they're still like shooting, like spamming left.
Oh no, I think they're just waiting.
I'm waiting for Tracer.
Tracer's back.
Oh, are they diving? Yeah, they're basically diving.
Get ready for a dive.
Support's trying to get. Oh, someone's shot over there, Genji.
Yeah, I'm holding amp. I'm holding amp.
Behind us, Tracer.
Yeah,
Shields half. Shields low.
Diva's half.
Shields down. Shields down. Zen's half.
Okay, let's back up.
They're going left side. They're going left side. They're going left side.
Guys, behind you, you're gonna get point.
Behind.
Yeah.
Guys, I need help.
Yeah, supports are getting no supports.
We have to pull fire.
Tracer 1.
Lucio 1.
Mini, shield up.
My bad.
Yeah, all good, bub.
I fucked up.
Gets done.
Should we push? Let's push.
No, thanks, bro.
Careful. They got back. They got back. They got back.
I got my ult.
I flopped hard there. My bad.
I kind of spent a lot of time kind of like doing nothing there. Like,
Yeah, I didn't do that.
I was checking the choke too much. I
So,
feel like.
guys, once you knew that the Tracer was in, you needed to kill her way faster. It's because that she sort of, sat there and you guys were distracted for so long, and then they were able to walk in.
Healing stream engaged.
Winston half.
Oh, he's super low. Please
Side,
kill
one
him.
side. Nice pick.
Let's
Nice.
go push him. No, push him.
Let's push. Let's not push.
Okay, just stay up here. Stay up here. We need the high ground.
Tracer left side.
Flanking again. Yeah.
She's all the way up top. She's all the way up top.
She's up top. She's
I'm
up top.
taking care of you.
Got shatter.
We can shatter and
Visor, maybe.
She's up there. No recall.
No. We should probably keep Visor.
She's still up here. She's still up
Yeah, I
here.
see her. I know where she is.
Yeah, I can keep everyone healed over here. You're good.
She's on point. She's on point. Oh, she's.
No,
Don't get distracted. Don't get
Guys,
distracted.
don't get too distracted. This is what I'm talking about.
Nice. Nice.
Actually, I'm gonna
Back
use
to
my.
choke, quick.
Genji left side.
Aiming heals.
I want to try to force it.
Diva hook.
Where does it hurt?
Diva's half. Get this Diva. Get this Diva.
Genji behind.
They're popping beat.
Genji on point, boys. Alright, I have no support on Genji.
Okay.
Cool.
Lucio's up top. I'm coming. Amping heals. Please
Diva
come
down.
back. We need heals. Please come back.
Getting back.
Three of them up top. Three of them all the way up top.
I have beat.
I must go where I'm needed.
There are two main. Tracer and Winston.
Yeah.
Winston's jumping main.
Genji and Lucio half up top.
Amping heals now.
Get Winston.
Just Winston. He's half. He's giving us ult charge.
You guys got this.
I shattered Genji.
Yeah, he's in there. He's in there.
Nice, good job.
Should we valk it? Or... No.
Get back.
I think it was
Were we down some people there?
Yeah, I got picked off at the very beginning.
Yeah.
I had no support.
When you die, try to like say. I think.
Yeah.
Wave, I was
Not
saying
you,
it over.
in general.
I'm gonna go Reaper.
How many do we have down there?
Cause I feel like a lot of time when someone was dying, like, they don't know.
I think they're going to just focus up right now.
They don't got Tracer anymore. It's a Reaper.
Yeah.
I'm also.
Winston's main. They're gonna push main. Like push main.
I'm being jumped.
This Winston, he's overselling. Get him. Reaper on me.
Nice. Get Zen. Zen's one.
Lucio one. Diva out of mech.
Genji right side. Genji on me. Reaper on me as well.
Under the bridge.
Reaper down.
Fuck me.
Diva.
Outside. Get this Lucio's main. He's half.
Stagger Diva.
Okay.
Lucio's over here too.
Back in the fight.
Oh, he's alone. He's one.
You wanna just leave me? Okay, that works.
Okay, that was funny as fuck.
I think we gotta be more attentive for Jay because he's getting attacked by the Genji.
Yeah, I'm getting attacked and I'm getting absolutely no support.
I'm gonna try to babysit him.
Yeah.
So, like,
Big thing that you guys, I want you to be careful about is not to split yourselves up. Because that's what's happening. These fights are getting really messy.
Okay. I think we should try to stick your right side so our healers can back up.
We
Yeah.
move as a big mass.
Makes sense. Shields.
They're going right. It looks like.
They're going right? Okay.
I have
wanna try to
shatter.
use- I want to use Tire to force up trans.
Winston. Oh, they're all good.
Pushing main. They're popping beat.
Nice.
Great team.
Actually, what's on this?
Fuck me, dude.
Good shatter. Nice.
Oh, dude, I completely forgot about like charging right after my shatter.
Sonny, that was nuts.
I completely forgot about charging right after my shatters.
Sonny, a good place to go is up here. So that way when they push, you can ult behind them. I don't know if you need that.
Get ready to support me if I fail though.
Okay.
Winston's upstairs.
Yo, Linguini. I mean, not Linguini. What? Doritos.
I can.
They replace
Once they start pushing really
Winston with
far,
Orisa.
try to at least just get one support.
Oh, they see.
Shield's down. Shield's going down. I'm saving it.
That's good. Yeah, Diva.
Shield's out of mag.
Zen trap.
No trans.
Gun down.
Reaper's one. Nice.
Nice job, bro.
Nice, dude.
Nice shot, bro.
Well,
Totally
dude,
intentional, calculated.
That's fine.
calculated. Don't kill me.
Doritos. I'm gonna let you, like, I'm not gonna Valk now when Genji blades for now. I'll let you use yours and I'll save mine if need be.
I'm pretty on beat. I used it.
Alright, so what else did they use? They used
Trends?
They used.
Oh, they used trends.
Yeah, they popped it when you ulted.
Did they use V?
No,
They used it like last fight. People were dead.
They used
Someone's
fluorescence.
trapped.
They're not gonna have beat soon because I'm at 30. Oh, he might be getting it.
Reaper ulting. Reaper's gonna ult behind it. On the left, on the left. Reaper's gonna ult.
I pushed him up. I pushed him up.
Nice job.
Guys, main.
There it is. Nice. He's happy.
You need to help me.
Okay.
Reaper's still here.
Thanks for the res.
Still winnable. Definitely winnable.
Yeah, I got you.
Should we stop?
D.Va, get D.Va first. Get D.Va.
Soldier,
Do I need chatter?
No.
use it if you want.
Yeah, we're fine.
They got no support out.
Diva's behind. Second Diva. Don't kill her yet. Don't kill her yet.
Sorry.
Okay. Lucio on point.
Oh, you booped him off. God damn it.
See if we can get it. See if we can get
That's
it.
alright.
No, leave it.
Yeah. I beat.
I got shatter. Sunny.
Okay, go after the Lucio
Yeah,
first.
they're gonna have trance, dude. They're not gonna. They might
probably
have.
gonna
They
have
might beat
beat.
too.
Sunny, let's see what the coach said.
Oh, they just popped player.
Yo, chill the comms. Talk one at a time.
Shattering?
Nice shatter.
Oh, I fucking charged again, dog. My bad again. Fucking, I'm flopping so hard.
It's okay, no.
Soul's down.
Diva's half. She's weak.
Get D.Va.
Lucio's behind everyone.
No.
Baby Diva's one.
Yeah, skip this Lucio. It's just him.
Dude, oh my
Shit
god.
out of this Brazilian bitch.
Tracer getting on point. Left side. Nice.
With disrespect.
Well, whoever made that call to like focus for Orisa first, we should have focused D.Va. I was trying to call that out.
I keep on forgetting to not charge.
It's like Orisa was like
It's
half,
okay.
and D.Va was almost out of mag. Like,
As long as you're realizing it's a mistake.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
We diving?
Yeah.
don't beat yourself too much, even if you do make it like a bad
Yeah,
mistake.
because we're still like this is literally the first day. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
first-
wait,
first-
was that? I was doing
Like, I
something
pinned and I'm like, shit, how was I supposed to do that?
It's alright.
Mitty, it's gonna take a Justin, dude. You got amazing shadow though.
Like, dude, you've been popping off this game. Like,
Yeah.
this is just scrim session.
Whose mic am I hearing
I think
myself
it's
on?
It might be Sundays. I don't know.
Hello?
Perhaps.
Yeah, I can hear myself.
Is your ping better now, or
Yeah, it's going down.
just
That's good.
randomly jump
Yeah.
scores to the moon?
I mean, at least you're doing stuff. At least.
Bro, stop bombing McDonald's.
Oh.
Gets a quad, just doesn't know.
Dudos. Another thing I wanted to tell you, like about me and you, like using our support ults to try to avoid using it at the same time. When I play Mercy and we're about to initiate a fight, I'm gonna use mine so you can save yours in case like they counteract with another ult. Because because with the Mercy now, like I can't really use it and then fly in to get reses. I can use it as like a sustainer to like heal and damage boost so we can kill. Yeah.
Yeah, I think beat should only be used as defense.
Yeah, so
If we don't have Zen.
I remember playing my gold days, where like if we
Gold
push a chosen like with me, like I would like pop beat. Like I would tell people like, yo, we should pop beat to initiate or like push it, and we like dominated.
Guys, left or right?
I think we
Right,
should-
right.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna keep.
Let's speed boost. Mini, put your shield right here so we don't have to pick over the enemy.
3, 2,
Let's go up top.
All right, full right.
Sombra up here.
Sombra.
Sombra low up here.
Push.
Let's push.
I got you, Blaze.
Go behind us. Get on point.
Genji.
Aiming heals on point. They're gonna jump down. Get ready. Spacer on point.
Genji's low.
Spacer, she's up top again.
Yeah, D got him.
Winston. Aiming heals.
I have no healing juice.
I did not do anything. Holy shit.
Get into position.
Wave, I kept you alive during that entire thing.
Yeah, Genji, you're too far up. Remember to stick with your team more.
Let's go left side, left side, left side.
Okay, I'm gonna
I'm behind
when we
you.
get
Yep.
Okay.
Spin.
I'm good.
Wait,
Guys,
you're good.
3, 2, 1, speed boost. Let's go.
Injured again.
Genji's low.
Surrender to my will.
Oh shit.
Mercy down.
Nice. He was low.
Winston's low.
It's my will.
Keep through on point. Keep through on point.
Good point. There we go.
Good job.
Holy shit.
Let's go,
That was
boys.
the fastest we've ever cleared a new
That
one.
was so fast. Holy shit.
What happened to BMing Wave?
Oh, what?
Yikes, we literally all said
No
it.
DM, no.
Good work, Wave.
Yeah, well, I said it because somebody else said it on the other team.
Oh yeah, true. This is nice.
Double this is my will.
Thanks, Louis.
You were only one of the kills in the kill
Wait,
feed.
so what are we? Are we 2-1 now?
Yeah, 2-1.
Yeah, we're 2-1.
Sweet.
Okay. Let's not leave the game.
Yeah.
Do not leave.
I don't think I'm leaving this game.
That was really good, like, coordination and, like, diving.
Awesome.
Yeah, good job, guys.
How do we do, coach?
The diving was fantastic. I thought you guys,
Mhm.
you guys basically, you had a couple of issues in the beginning. The big thing that went wrong, and the reason that you guys lost first, was because what ended up happening was there were two people that were out together, and you killed both of them. But then you guys weren't watching the kill feed, so you didn't see who else was alive or dead. The reason you got rolled was because you didn't fully clean the fight up, and so when their next two came in, the two people that hadn't died pushed in, and so all of a sudden it was there were four people when you weren't expecting to have anyone left. So you just need to be more careful about your awareness of who's alive versus who's not, and then try not to get split too much, because they ended up having numbers for that reason. Defense, you guys were doing a really good job. You went over a lot of the major sorts of things, but on the whole, I thought you did really well. The big
Hey.
thing about dive, when you went there, was you did a really good job of getting up top, and then that's where you ran into some sort of confusion. It's okay to basically push all the way through. You don't want to get stuck fighting them because you want to think of who has the positional advantage. If you manage to get to point, they have to come to you. And so it's the kind of thing where you don't want to get bogged up too much unless like people are dying and it's like very clear that it's not going to work. So long as it still works, like if you can get to that that room up top, that's good. If you can start pushing out the high ground, better. And then if you get another point, awesome. In terms of coordinating the dive, you guys did a good job. It's especially on second, like the Winston jumped in from one angle, the Diva came in from the other. There was just constant mayhem. Like that's exactly how that's supposed to go, and so that was really good. The one thing is that you guys weren't able to do that on the first point, just because part of it's because that on that map it's a little bit harder to get that sort of structure to go off because you were pushing out top and whatnot. But I want you to be careful to sort of still focus on who you're actually going to be fighting, because there was at one point, for instance, where Diva was fighting the other Diva. Genji was up like trying to solo the team and just getting pocketed through the whole thing. Like, it was the kind of thing where I'm like, he's gonna die. He's so dead, and he just kept not dying. I was like, I'm really
Yeah. Wave, literally, you went away from my healing, and I'm like, oh shit, he's dead now. But I'm like,
I was watching that. That was retarded.
dude, oh my god.
no way he should be alive right now.
Wait,
It's
wait,
because I know how to pocket someone when they're in
this is
trouble.
after you got hacked on first point.
Oh, dude, okay. That's basically what happened. So now I know what you're guys talking about. Like, because I saw four of them lined up, and I was like, oh shit, like, it clicked in my mind. I was like, oh shit, like, ult charge. And then I dashed, and I was like, wait.
Yeah, no. Dash is used for killing people who are going to die, not for.
It's like,
I was like,
wow.
4 or 5, you're like, oh, I'll just dash them. I'll get
So
almost
remember,
completely.
Genji is very small. He has 200 health. He is not a tank. He doesn't block for his
Small
team
boy.
very well.
He's actually a 32-year-old
If you
man.
see that many people, that is a sign that it is time to back up and go to your tanks. Just be warned there.
Wait.
So that's what I mean, though. In terms of the
What do you
focus,
mean?
Genji, don't fight 4 people at once by yourself. Not
You're
in-
right. General tip.
But yeah, pro tip.
I don't know how.
Pro tip.
It's like, Wave, you gotta pass there because we were
I
there.
was gonna ask you to heal.
You ain't single, baby.
Yeah, no, but so at the same time, it's not objectively like wrong for you to be fighting them. Just make sure your tanks are helping too.
Yeah, and not
all want to be
yeah.
focused on the same thing. What you could have done there alternatively, so having the tanks up there would have been nice too, because it would have prevented those 4 from coming on a point and contesting. That said, if your tanks were fighting the 2 people on point, which they were, as Genji, it's I want to be able to help my tanks so we can kill them faster and then focus on the 4 people up top. Either of those are valid decisions. Just make sure that you're on the same page. So actually fighting the people on the bottom would have been better, because then your supports aren't in danger of just getting popped.
I think just backing up in general, whether it be on the point or on the other high ground, and just poking at them would have been better instead of just dashing in. But yeah.
No, so it's the kind of thing where, because this is a personal problem that I can relate to, because I've had to deal with it for 2 full years at this point. In terms of playing Genji and trying to call shot call, it's very easy to end up focusing too much on playing Genji and then not saying anything, or alternatively trying to say too much and then not focusing on what you yourself are doing, because there's just a lot to think about. I want you to lean more on the side of saying less, because that will help you focus more on your positioning, where you are, who else is calling, so on and so forth. Especially because now we have coaches to help sort of fill that administrative role. It's very important that we basically focus on it's the kind of thing where typically shot callers are supports and tanks, because they have the least mechanical things to think about. But if you try to do too much on a character like Genji, you're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to make mistakes. So take a deep breath, take a step back, focus up. So, but otherwise, yeah, no, you guys did great. That was really well done. And the other little things were more minor. Again, yeah, you caught yourself, Reinhardt. That's okay. You're aware of it. Habits don't change overnight, but it's it's good that you were thinking of that. Support ults, that was also a big call of making sure Mercy comes first and then the other support ult afterwards. You guys are doing great, honestly. You guys have made a ton of progress considering how much you've been playing together. And so keep it up. This is fantastic.
Awesome. Wait, so we picked the map, right?
Yeah, it's payload.
Which payload?
Payload.
Okay.
Real quick, can I interject?
Yes.
From what I'm hearing, I'm gonna say, first of all, Wave, you on King's Row, first point, you literally solo carried first point.
Yeah,
you can play Genji to a good mechanical level. So I feel like it would be beneficial to let the main tank, especially the Winston target call, because Winston's the one creating the space for you. So like the other, before you said that you're just assuming that your tanks were behind you. If Winston calls his dive and he says, I'm jumping on Ana, and he jumps on Ana and you follow him, now you know that your tank is going to be with you. So I feel like it'd be beneficial to try to have mini call at some point. I don't want to overwhelm people right now today. I heard you guys are doing a great job while I'm doing a horrible job at physics. But honestly, it's sort of lucky that we have a team that's already played together.
Yeah, no, I second that. So
you need to get better at physics, but overall our team needs to get better at chemistry.
Get the fuck out.
Can we kick him out for that?
Can we get a sub in here?
Can we kick him out?
Yes.
What? That was great. You can't fucking lie. That was amazing.
I think something that helped us was the positive reinforcement. We had a lot of it that game. One, because we were just kind of popping off, but more than I think telling each other that we were doing good and good things instead of the bad things helped morale and
Yeah, when I play Lucio, when I normally when I used to shot call my team as Lucio, I used to sort of be my team's hype man sometimes, because sometimes you're DPS player, sometimes you're Lucio player, sometimes your DPS is gonna pop up, and you just gotta say, you're doing good, Lucio, you're doing good, keep it up, Sonny, that good tracking, Wave, great ult, and sometimes that helps keep the energy in the mood go, especially on payload maps. Overwatch can be such a momentum based game that keeping the attitude up to an extent can be very beneficial. And I think we've all had those moments where you just pop off and it just feels so good, and you just have your team like yelling at you in the background, just like, oh shit, he just did that.
Okay, so not
We kinda
Junker
like
Tone.
Gibraltar.
We're not doing Junker Tone.
No, we have to choose because we won.
Junker
It's like
Town.
No, I said
Junker Town. Junker Town.
we're not doing Junker Tone.
I say Gibraltar or
I say
Route
Gibraltar.
66.
Okay, type Gibraltar if you want to do Gibraltar.
I don't think
Just-
no, we got.
Wait,
rolled
which
on
one is
Gibraltar.
Dorado? Dorado's a
I-
Mexican map, right?
That's the one at night.
We
Guys,
got
Oh,
rolled on
just
Gibraltar.
type whatever map you want. Okay, stop spamming, Jay.
But it has to be payload, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has to be payload,
Yes.
only payload. Yeah, but
Also, Heat.
I
Real
either
quick.
do Route 66 or Gibraltar because earlier on Route 66 we like popped off against like a 6-stack. Or no, it was like we were a 5 and they were a 5. They were like a 3, 2, and 1.
Okay, so that's 3
Wait,
for
real quick,
Gibraltar.
real quick.
two
It-
for
it's-
Gibraltar.
Yeah, hold up a sec, guys.
Team.
What's up?
I wanted to tell you that I talked to Wisis, and we talked about like a map pool because obviously we're not gonna be playing all the maps.
Yeah, of course.
And the only info that I got, probably no 2CP.
Oh.
Either that or like the OD system.
Mhm.
But that's all I got right now on a map. Hopefully
Okay.
we'll decide that in the next coming weeks so that we really know what maps we gotta practice.
Perfect.
And
Let's do 66.
I'm down for
66.
66.
Yeah,
So-
that was,
so-
that was we did really well on it.
So if we do play like 2CP, focus more on like team play than like map stress.
We can focus. So the big thing is, just sort of as a general note for everyone, what I'd like to focus on before we even get into like hero or map, especially map specific things, is more on working together as a team and being able to talk to one another. Once we have that down, we can start broadening from there. And then, like, as a DPS coach, I can help the DPS individually. Best play support, so we can help the supports. We can both work with the tanks, so on and so forth. But for the time being, I want to make sure everyone is good playing with one another before we worry about anything else.
And there are like coaches in Wawa that I can definitely trust to coach you guys, especially like as I said, Frisk before. Frisk is a great Lucio coach. He's a better Lucio player than me, so he can Lucio. I know Kremis. Kremis is a good off tank player. I've played with her before. Tried out for a team. There are some players that definitely like we recommend, like we can definitely get you like, because like this is all like we can do team like individual coaching, but like we'd rather spend our time
Traveling to
team
Route
coaching and
66.
we do buds.
While team coaching, are there things that you would tell us to do individually, or is it always going to be like how we're working together? Because I mean, working together is obviously a great thing, but I mean, like, there are some things I think that we need to work on individually.
Yeah, I mean, like
So-
before, but sorry, Heat, but like I was gonna say like before
Prepare
I
to
told
attack.
like
Select your hero.
What'd you say? What?
Yeah, you could have.
Best?
I think you died.
When G group things you
Yo, Mini, you wanna practice your
With every death comes honor.
Hey, Wave.
Honor.
Yes.
A tip for you is stop being bad at the game.
It is time.
Okay.
Whoa.
I think he was listening.
Yeah, that's
So yeah, hold up, guys, for a sec. So I'm not sure if this is the point the best was going to make, but to put this into perspective, for instance, I'm not individually spectating any of you. I'm using the free cam while it's happening. What I care about more than watching like individual like team, people play right now, is more how you're working together as a team
Attack
and
commences in
how
30
that
seconds.
dynamic works. Because again, it's the kind of thing where we could, we can sit down and tweak individual people later, but what's more important right now is working together as a team. This is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying like, the difference between games that are just, you queue competitive and solo queue, and you play a game with, 5 random people and never see them again, versus like when you actually play with, a team consistently, you have more time to build up
Real quick,
something.
Doritos, I think you should honor. Video by Chinook.
Commencing.
I mean, yeah, JayTheBae,
Science
Mercy,
will
or
reveal the truth.
probably Mercy, honestly.
One in front and one in the back.
I think Moira's better because like since we're all up, it's gonna be easier for her to like.
Manny, put your shield in the front, and then please.
Okay, yeah, I got this. I think you're out of it, bro.
Yeah, trying to.
Sucking people in.
Nice. What's that Reloading.
Arista's half.
Yeah, I got you.
Shields is low.
Oh wait, I reached him out of the hook.
Damage boost engage. You need a deflector?
They're pushing us hard now.
Lucio down.
Nice. Trying to heal.
Get
Oh my
hog.
god, I'm sure.
Reloading.
Oh, sorry.
McCree's low in the back.
Wait, I'm healing you, Blaze. I got you.
Luigi, stop touching me while I'm playing.
Get Mercy. He's down.
Reloading.
Nice. Set back up.
We got this, boys.
I'll place it behind you, Bastion. Just I mean in front of you. My bad.
Hello there.
There you go.
Oh shit.
You should be at peak performance
My
level.
accuracy is fine. What the fuck?
You guys will start popping.
Yeah, we gotta start.
I'll use mine first.
I'm gonna try and pull him in. I'm trying to pull him in.
Wait, don't. I'm 90 on nano.
Yeah,
Nice,
next time,
dude.
Vinny, next time tell me when you have that. I can fire strike it.
I say I'm pulling them in. Like, I say it before. I've been doing it.
Oh no, I can't
Back it. Not worth. Back out.
Okay, I'm trying.
Hey, it's okay. Back out or die. It's alright. We just need to
Charger
agree.
for next fight. I guess super.
Where does it hurt?
We could probably pop supercharger.
Fucking messaging me.
We could probably pop supercharger. No, just nano bastion this fight, and that should win it.
I'm coming back. I'm not with you guys. Give me a second.
Oh yeah, nano blade.
Are we
Yeah,
gonna push
nano
the
blade.
backside?
Should we nano blade or should I think we should
Nano blade.
Nano blade.
What do you guys want to push?
Okay.
Just go main. Just go in.
Alright, get me shield.
See, here is it.
I'm open.
Do you see me?
I'm down.
Roadhog's one.
Let's swap off.
Jay, please heal Jay.
More bastion.
Increase one on cart. Got him.
Nice.
Do you want me to play Moira? Or is that nano good?
No, that's perfect.
Your support has arrived. Thank you.
Yeah, I saw that, dude. That's my bad. I couldn't get to you.
Blaze, switch to Hog or another off tank, and I might steer
I
this.
think Bastion and Carver's fine.
But
Yeah,
so we're not doing Bastion on cart anymore. That's the thing.
You're not gonna be able to put the bastion in straight again.
Hog no hook.
Wrist up front.
Oh,
He must have been focused on someone else.
Oh,
Don't pop anything.
I already
Oh,
popped.
it's trapped.
Yeah.
Okay, I used my run shutter, so.
we don't have a defensive one.
Yeah.
Dude, does you
I'm
bring out the boostio? Or like...
Do you want me to bring out that?
Actually, you might as well go Winston. Mini.
Me? Oh, okay.
How about
Yeah.
a dude?
We're running dive.
Dive.
Yeah, they're running dive. Well, no, they're like anti-dive. They're running a lot of anti-dive right now.
Oh yeah,
they
they're
are.
full.
Jump
You
grab
heard
Roadhog.
your death ball?
Actually that would work, but we'd have to
Oh,
learn it.
let's fight first. We
Yeah,
gotta
let's just
fight.
do this first. Let's
Right side, right side.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use my ult.
Yeah,
think we should drop
three,
those.
two, one, speed boost.
Guys, drop.
Oh, okay, I got hooked. That's bad.
It's alright. It's drop push.
Let's dive Mercy in the back.
Trying to get back to you guys.
Ready?
Swing his ults.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, just kidding.
Focus Mercy.
Mercy half.
Having heals for you guys? Oh, fire. Mercy dead.
Fuck is he?
Easy game. McCree. Guys, McCree up top.
Lucio's on point.
Good shit, Wade.
Focus dive.
Only Roadhog. You guys got this.
Wait, are you dead? Is anybody dead?
I'm dead.
Wait,
I think we're good. No.
I'm good. I can just jump back.
Yeah, no, I'm just not amping.
Yeah, you shouldn't do.
I didn't amp.
No, it's
Okay, we got point. Nice.
We're good.
they haven't used beat yet, so I'm gonna try to
Yeah,
force
they're
out
gonna have
beat.
beat.
Damage boost.
Unless you want to try to solo. Not solo, but like.
I'm gonna switch off Winston.
Lucio, but
So
Actually, Yeah.
Because this is a very like narrow point.
Wave. You should play to bait out their support ults.
See if they pop up at the same time, then we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Are we gonna dive Mercy? Are we gonna dive Mercy?
Yep. Yeah, pop up. Yep, back out, back out, back out, back out.
Dry push.
Yeah, back out.
Just back out, back out, back out.
Just let it waste, let it waste. That's fine, that's totally fine.
We got spawn.
I'm gonna use my ult as an initiator here.
After I
try to stick one of the supports. Doesn't really matter which. Preferably Mercy.
I can beat a little later.
Yeah, use it when they counteract with. Probably they're gonna have Junkrat spam or.
Alright, let's go in, go in, go in.
You're gonna die.
They're still having Val.
Alright.
Let's dive that
As soon as you dive, I'm gonna pop. As soon as you dive, I'm gonna pop it.
Okay, let's dive McCree. 3, 2, 1, go. Junkrat slow.
You got double. Clean up on cart, clean up on cart.
Easy peasy.
Beautiful, boys.
Let's go.
I got my ult so I can push him off. Junk tire.
Spread it. Do it at you. Alright, it's fine, it's fine. McCree up here.
Let's get out.
We have a minute. We just need we can initiate with
Oops.
Kill me.
Are you gonna start at 10?
Okay, we have time.
I'm gonna scrim, I can't.
Mama, man, scrim. Yo, Sonny, if you run to leave. Sonny, if you run to leave,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
okay.
ready.
Okay, I'm gonna speed boost us. Ready? 3, 2.
Guys, let's dive McCree. Guys, let's dive McCree. Guys, diving McCree. 3, 2. Okay, I got hooked.
Alright. I'm getting out, I'm trying.
Got him. I got pinned.
I'm taking care.
Right tap.
Roadhog tap.
Nice. Watch Lucio, he's dead.
Hog no vape, hog no vape.
Oh yeah, Sunny.
Hog one.
I should have used that.
Junkrat's down. Junkrat's down.
They have a main out.
Mercy 1. Nice. Lucio. Get Lucio with me, Genji.
Immer unterbricht mich jemand bei der
Mace on me, behind.
Winnable.
Guys, keep comms clear.
Lucio, guys. There you go.
Sorry, keep the comms clear, you're good. Giving you all damage, just swing, just swing. It's alright, Blaze, you're good.
Lucio.
Down.
Main.
No, guys.
Yo, he.
I got it for a second.
What's that mean when the spectator thinks someone's ultimate thing is yellow?
We should have.
The little check. Like, you know how when you're spectating you can see who has ultimate and who doesn't? And it shows like a little check mark. What does it mean when it's yellow and blue? Sometimes it's yellow.
and blue?
Yeah, like sometimes a check mark is like yellow.
I think that's still mean it's just ready. It might be the coloring of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it might just be the coloring. I'm not really sure what you're talking about. I've never seen that.
But just look at the little thing and you'll see.
I don't know what we could have done to prevent that mail.
So the problem was basically we wanted to keep 3 people on the cart at all times. We wanted the other people though, when no one else was there, to be pushing up to make it harder for them to get in. For instance, if Lucio was up front, he could boop the Mei back a little bit, and that would have given you a little bit more time. Yeah. Once that Mei ult went off though, the tanks have to basically take it.
Minnie, you should
if
go.
you can keep, if you can ideally, you can try and actually pop it off with a Winston shield, or with you know, your Reinhardt shield. That will allow you to stay on the cart. Worst comes to worst though, the supports are just gonna have to keep the tanks alive through being frozen, because someone has to stand on it. So it's the kind of thing where no one obviously likes being frozen, But it is the tank's job in that situation to do so.
real quick.
I was out of mech, so I couldn't take it.
No, exactly.
So I was out of it.
Guys, Sunny.
What's going on? Team.
I'm here.
Oh,
So, so, sorry, but sorry for the like that.
Oh, I didn't realize who was talking. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I wanted to say that like, coach reached out for me to play ESC on Thursday. Do you guys have a scrim for that time?
No.
No.
Yeah, we scrim on Fridays and
No, we scrim basically
Fridays?
every day besides Mondays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
Rough.
Monday, Thursdays, and
Also
Saturdays.
Yeah, but Saturdays sometimes we do it anyways. You know.
But they have a bar out.
Like if all of us are home.
Wait, we don't swim on Wednesdays, do we?
Are they running basketball?
No, we usually don't. But
Focus, boys, focus. No distractions.
Yeah, you guys just
He was jumping.
Even one.
He was out of mech.
I'm down.
That Tracer just kind of screwed us, dude.
Yeah. Back out. Doritos, try to get everyone out.
Yeah, speed out.
Die Wunder der modernen Medizin.
Just see who can get out.
Just tracer, get the tracer.
Get out.
Healing
Oh,
stream
we're gonna give
engaged.
them.
Here, Doritos, come back. You don't want to get picked, bro. We can go out last.
Wait, do you want to double hit scan?
No, we can't.
No. At least we're all here. It's no point in getting staggered over there.
Do you need help with that fair? Or
Yeah, we need something like that far, dude.
Some assistance.
Tracer up top on gas station.
lagging?
Yeah, we need to get something like that.
I'll go.
Okay.
Come on. Dude.
You can push up, anything heal for you guys?
Okay.
You're down tracer, but I think it's
Get the Pharaoh with the riptire.
Give us half. Yeah, we can get initiate.
You're dying up there.
It's okay. That's a good door res. I'm gonna go for.
I see you.
Far hooked. Far one.
Winston, wait, get this
Guys.
Winston's tap. He's one.
Sorry about that, Sonny.
Yeah, Tracer keeps on picking us off one by one.
Tracer one.
I could check out the fire, but
Let's try to
I
pull
can't
her
win.
with a. Guys, let's try to pull her with Arissa and then hook.
I already hooked her.
I mean, there's just that combo. Like, keeping them out,
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
Ah, the
Guys, we're getting
wonders of
fucking walled
modern
here.
I should never have gone this far out.
Flex. They're diving really hard.
Here, I'm just gonna go soldier actually first after the game.
Okay.
Actually, can you go Reaper, actually?
Reaper?
Yeah.
Reaper would help with the dive.
Yeah, Pharah isn't really too effective in this last point because of the narrow spaces.
Let me get you patched up.
So
They're still running far.
Guys, try to clear it.
Can we pause on
Yeah,
like...
we need to push things.
Pause it.
What's going on?
Sonny's
Like,
doing something.
you want to swap out?
Wait, guys.
Yeah,
since
Sonny, it's
you're
okay
paused-
if you need to swap.
Guys, since
Yeah,
you're
we can
paused
swap.
again, does Friday work for you at that time?
Yes.
Friday.
Friday's fine, yeah.
Friday at what
EST.
time?
8 EST.
8
8
ESD.
ESC? I'm down.
I'm down.
I can't. I mean, I might be able to. I don't know, but like.
Yeah, he
has
usually
to
gets
get
here
on.
like 8:30.
Oh,
I gotta
Linguini,
go.
you're up.
Alright, I guess I'll just play for the next 8 minutes. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, who do you guys want me to go? First one?
McCree. That's what he's
the
playing.
Cree, yeah, sure.
We good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of sacrifices all of his ult charge, but it's fine.
He had
It's
like
only his.
30%.
Only
He had
his.
30% anyway.
Oh,
Yeah.
At least that's what I believe he had.
Yeah. Okay, we should push
I
them.
could use some
Start pushing.
assistance.
Tracer up.
Yeah.
You should wait for me. You should wait for me. You should wait for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, true.
I have supercharger.
I'm in
We
front.
can't give them that much space. We have to push up.
Yeah.
Blaze, let Minnie go first.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It's okay.
Patched up.
Alright.
Anything else?
Did I? Oh,
Let's push up a little bit.
Took too much damage. Couldn't.
Yeah.
I put down my.
It's alright, Minnie. You're good, Doc.
I need a quick contest.
I'm trying to contest. David's out of mech.
We're fine.
Keep me up.
Yeah, we got it.
Sorry, I was resing a tank.
Last team is just that. What? First team Tracer.
Farah.
Stay alive, Blaze. Amping heals.
Farah's one.
Okay. Watch this.
You got this. I'm gonna flank, and I'm gonna try to get their
Pop
Zen
their,
to
yeah,
pop
pop their
turrets.
ults. Yeah, make them pop their ults.
They switched fair for junk.
Yeah, they're gonna try to do that shield spam. Watch it, Mini.
I'll try and pull him into your death blossom, dude.
They switched someone else for not bad McCree.
Yeah, they switched straight to
Where am I
the
holding?
Hold a little up. There, yeah.
You see where I'm at, Mini?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Let me know when you're pulling.
I'll bait on McCree's flashbang for you.
Let's go.
Let's get back
I'm
up,
like
back up, back up,
supercharging
back
here.
up.
Junk up behind, junk up right side up top.
Right side up top.
I'm weak. Amping heals.
Oh, I should do this. It's okay, let's go.
They're gonna push this. They're gonna start pushing. Watch me.
Oh, back up.
It's okay.
Back up, we can supercharge.
Okay, that's probably not gonna
Get
happen.
ready to touch. We can use ults.
Use it now.
Supercharging.
Can you res this here?
No, don't.
No, I'm not. I know.
I got supercharge.
Diva's out of mech.
No.
No.
We won it. Okay.
Push him.
Oh shit, I'm almost dead. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, I'm almost good.
You just baby Diva. See if we can pick her. Get her.
I think there's a Mercy up there too.
Yes, she is too.
Come with B Reaper.
Oh no, fall back.
Diva,
Oh, yeah,
back up.
Back out, wait. Speed out.
Back up.
Yeah, I know, we're trying
It's okay,
to.
they pulled us. It's okay.
Yeah.
Go get touch.
My ultimate is charging.
Alright, I want to try to do the same thing, basically.
Yeah, I want to make sure that
Luigi, can you...
I'll
Luigi,
bait off flashbang. I'll bait off
for sure. Steady.
I'm gonna see if I can beat from like a
I'm gonna
safe
hold it down.
McCree flashbang. He used it.
Alright.
Nice! The coordination, though.
Oh, sorry, Lucio.
Push him.
Yeah, push up.
That was a 3-man. I'm getting the Diva here. Wait, who else is coming? Oh, Diva got me.
We overextending too much.
Yeah, you were solo.
It was just one Diva. Well, she was
Guys, beware of junk ult right here.
Yeah, they're gonna have junk.
I have full swamp here.
Especially you, Doritos. Dudes, if you see junk tide coming to you,
Stick on their Zen.
if you don't, if you hear the junk tide, don't immediately use your yeah.
Well, what support are we using?
I'm gonna use mine.
Use yours first.
I'm good. That's all good, babe.
You can probably push this.
Mercy half.
This is one.
Nice, we can push this.
That was good.
Get this Diva, she's overextended. Get her.
Nice, go back.
They're gonna have some ults, they're gonna have junk tires.
Very good coordination.
They're gonna have Arisa, Bongo. They're gonna have a lot of ults. They're
We
gonna have
almost have
trans.
super. Yeah, they were gonna have transfer.
Do you have anything to bait it out? No.
I can try and make him use it.
Yeah, try to like just annoy the fuck.
I'm gonna be harassed.
Don't use it as soon. Just.
Yeah, I know.
It's coming from right. Coming right.
Yeah, it's coming up top. It's me. It's okay. It's me.
You got her lucky.
We're down two.
That's alright.
Back out a bit. Back out.
I'm trying.
Get out.
We can supercharger B.
Yeah, okay. We just need to group up.
Good as new.
Wait, stay alive.
I can contest.
Yeah, dude, I don't know.
On point.
Go point now.
Let's just beat.
Yes.
Cover you.
I'm on point.
Don't let them res.
Fuck.
Try to get Zen. Focus Zen.
Where's the one?
No.
Amping heals.
Contest.
McCree one.
Okay, here we go.
Stay alive.
3 down.
Stay alive.
No, that's looks like.
We must all make sacrifices.
Unless you can do something.
No, that was 2-2.
Nah, it's all good. Yeah.
We held it for 5 minutes on last.
Yeah, it was overtime.
Yeah, that's good.
Alright, this is the end of the scrim, actually.
Unless we do tiebreaker, I don't think we will.
I did pretty well with Tracer in the end, I think.
You know, he
I
did.
got a 3 as a Smurf, but
No,
That
he's
was
not.
annoying. This was annoying, dude. He's like,
Robert Sonny's.
I don't know why they're called Beetle though. They had already won.
He's level like 700. I don't think he's a Smurf.
I mean, that was some good coordination at the end there with the flashbang and stuff.
Here,
Yeah.
let's give this guy the
He's 2800.
let's give him the legendary.
Post-mission diagnostics.
Oh my god, one of their things. No, one of them left. One of them left.
I gave it to him.
As long as we aren't BM. All right, so he best left. He's deafened.
Oh, did he? Okay. Sorry, I had to step away for a bit there. It's just
Yikes.
Oh, I didn't get
Yeah.
to see my Pro Tracer play.
Yeah,
AKA
no, I
me
apologize.
baiting off
I
flashbang and
missed-
wave during the rest.
I missed most of that second round, unfortunately. I caught the very beginning, like up until second, and then
Alright.
I caught the last like
It
minute.
was our coordination at the end was probably the best we've had all day. Like we used Tracer to bait out the McCree's flashbang, and then I could use my Reaper ult behind them and
Yeah,
ended
you
up
got a quad kill.
Yeah, and we coordinated the support ults, so we didn't waste both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Just McCree, he got a few good shots at the end there, won in the game.
for sure. That was pretty good.
Yeah, the McCree.
I think that baiting out the flashbang and then like me ulting was like
That was I think we should do more stuff like that, honestly.
for sure.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah, like
Don't
I
mind
could like
you,
try
so
to
okay.
make the Zen force trans with by harassing him, and we can ult something like
Do you
that.
think? I'll message best actually. No, he's not. He's not even spectating. No, he
It's
said he
not
had to do
definitely
physics, right?
Yeah, he said he has to do physics.
All right. So let's end the stream, I guess. He is.
Very good game, every side. Great game against Team Vertigo and Esports EI. Awesome, both teams played great. Other team did really well. Hope we get to wish you guys again. That was a lot of fun.